Hey, if I gave you $10,000 today and
Okay.
told you to hide it under your bed for the next 20 years, most people would call that being responsible. It's not. It's one of the easiest ways to become poorer without spending a single dollar. Sounds impossible? Let me ask you something. Would you buy an ice cream for $50? Of course not. But if you keep your money in the wrong place long enough, one day, that's basically what you'll be doing. Every single country has a silent thief. It doesn't wear a mask. It doesn't break into your house. It doesn't even need your password. Yet every year, it quietly steals a piece of everything you've ever saved. And the craziest part? Most people thank it for keeping their money safe. By the end of this video, you'll understand why millionaires don't think about saving money the way everyone else does, and why doing what your parents told you about money might be the most expensive advice you'll ever follow. Here's the biggest lie we've been told about money. Save more. That's it. That's the advice. Work hard, spend less, save as much as you can. It sounds responsible, right? Well, it is, but only up to a point. Imagine this. Every month, you save $500. You skip vacations. You make coffee at home. You resist buying the latest iPhone. You even say no when your friends invite you out. Congratulations. You're financially disciplined. Meanwhile, your landlord raises the rent. Groceries get more expensive. Gas prices decide to have another personality crisis. And somehow, the same shopping cart that cost you $100 last year now costs $120. You didn't become richer. The world just became more expensive. That's the part nobody tells you. Most people think money is like a photograph. You take it today, and it looks exactly the same 20 years later. But money isn't a photograph. It's more like an ice cube. Leave it sitting there, and little by little, it melts. Slowly enough that you barely notice, but fast enough that one day you wonder where half of it went. And no, this isn't because banks are evil or because someone secretly hacked your account. It's because cash has an invisible enemy: inflation. Think of inflation as life constantly increasing the entrance fee. Last year, your money could buy 10 tickets. This year, it buys 9. Next year, maybe 8.5. The number in your bank account hasn't changed. But what that number can actually do has. That's why two people can both have $100,000. And 10 years later, one is financially free, while the other is wondering, where did all my money go? The difference isn't how much they saved. It's what they did after saving it. And that's where almost everyone gets it wrong. So, why does this happen? Why does money seem to lose its superpowers over time? The answer is surprisingly simple. Imagine you're at a concert. Everyone is sitting down. Life is good. Then one person stands up. Suddenly the people behind them can't see, so they stand up too. Within a minute, the entire audience is standing. Nobody sees better than before. Everyone is just more uncomfortable. Money works in a similar way. As economies grow, people earn more. Businesses spend more. Governments spend more. More money flows through the economy. Sounds great, until everyone starts chasing the same products. There are still only so many houses, only so many cars, only so many cups of coffee. When more people are willing and able to pay, prices rise. And that's inflation. But here's the twist. Inflation isn't always the villain. A small amount of inflation is actually normal in healthy economies. It encourages people to spend and invest instead of keeping every dollar under the mattress forever. The real problem starts when your money isn't growing, but prices are. Imagine you're walking up an escalator that's going down. If you stand still, you're actually moving backward. If you walk slowly, you barely make progress. To get ahead, you have to move faster than the escalator. Investing works the same way. You're not trying to beat your neighbor. You're trying to beat inflation. That's why wealthy people don't ask, where is my money safest? They ask, where can my money grow responsibly over the long term? Because they understand something most people don't. Cash protects your money today. Investments have the potential to protect your purchasing power tomorrow. And that single shift in thinking changes everything. Here's the part almost nobody talks about. Rich people don't actually love money. They love ownership. Think about it. If you have $1 million sitting in a bank account, you're a millionaire, technically. But if that money never grows, you're slowly becoming a former millionaire. Now imagine someone else. They don't have $1 million in cash. They own pieces of hundreds of companies. They own businesses. They own real estate. They own things that keep producing value. Every morning, they wake up, and thousands of employees around the world are working without even knowing their name. That's the difference. The average person works for money. Wealthy people try to own things that work for them. Let's make it even simpler. Imagine you own a chicken every day. The chicken lays an egg. Now imagine selling the chicken just to buy one egg. Sounds ridiculous, right? Yet that's exactly how many people think about money. They focus on collecting eggs. Instead of owning chickens, income is the egg. Assets are the chicken. And over time, chickens usually beat eggs. Here's another mistake people make. They think being rich means buying expensive watches, luxury cars, designer clothes, private jets. Those are the things people see. They don't see the boring part, the spreadsheets, the investments, the years of reinvesting profit, the patience. Real wealth is surprisingly boring. It doesn't always look impressive. Sometimes it looks like saying no today, so you can say yes 1,000 times later. And that's the hidden truth. Wealth isn't built by saving every dollar forever. It's built by owning things that have the potential to become more valuable over time. Because eventually, there comes a point where your money stops asking, "What should I buy?" and starts asking, "What can I own?" And that's the question that changes everything. So, if rich people aren't stuffing cash under their mattresses, what are they actually doing? Contrary to what social media wants you to believe, they don't wake up at 4 a.m., take an ice bath, drink coffee made from beans blessed by Himalayan monks, and magically become millionaires. Their biggest advantage is much less exciting. They buy assets, not because assets are glamorous, but because assets have the potential to keep producing value long after they're purchased. Think of every dollar as a tiny employee. Most people send that employee shopping. Rich people try to give that employee a job. Instead of asking, "What can this dollar buy today?" they ask, "Can this dollar bring back friends?" That's the mindset. Maybe it's a business. Maybe it's a rental property. Maybe it's a broadly diversified investment portfolio. Different wealthy people choose different paths, but they usually share one habit. They try to own things that have the potential to generate future income or increase in value. And here's something people rarely notice. Wealthy people don't rush. They understand one word: compounding. Imagine rolling a tiny snowball down a snowy hill. At first, it barely grows. Honestly, it looks like a waste of time. Then it gets a little bigger, then bigger, and eventually, it becomes something you definitely don't want rolling toward your house. That's how long-term investing often works. The first years feel slow. The later years can make the earlier ones look tiny. That's why patience is often more valuable than constantly chasing the next big thing. Of course, none of this means every investment succeeds. Markets can fall. Businesses can fail. Real estate can lose value. Risk never disappears. That's why successful investors focus on learning, managing risk, and thinking long-term, not on guaranteed profits. In the end, rich people don't have secret money printers. They simply spend less time asking, "How can I earn another dollar?" and more time asking, "How can $1 become 2?" That small change in perspective is where wealth usually begins. So, let's be clear. Saving money isn't bad. In fact, it's one of the most important financial habits you can build. But saving alone isn't the finish line. It's the starting line. Think about it. If money were a football team, saving would be the goalkeeper. Essential, reliable. But you probably won't win many games if your goalkeeper is the only one doing any work. At some point, your money needs to leave the bench. It needs to start playing. That's how wealth is built. Not overnight, not through a secret hack, and definitely not because someone on social media rented a Lamborghini for the afternoon. Real wealth is usually much quieter than that. It's built through patience, smart decisions, consistency, and giving your money the chance to grow instead of asking it to sit still forever. Here's something worth remembering. Poor people think, "I need more money." Wealthy people often think, "I need my money to become more productive." Those sound similar, but they lead to completely different lives. So the next time you get paid, don't just ask yourself, "How much can I save?" Ask a better question. How can this money create more value in the future? Because the goal isn't to die with the biggest bank account. The goal is to build a life where your money works, even when you don't. And that is the difference between having money and building wealth. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe, because understanding money isn't about becoming obsessed with wealth. It's about buying yourself something far more valuable: freedom. Subscribe, unless you enjoy inflation. In that case, I genuinely don't know how to help you. Anyway.
Muchas gracias, afición. Este para vosotros.